Whiskey Jason here, whiskey from the viewpoint of an American over here in Germany, often reviewing rare and exotic whiskeys. Today I have something from NULU, bourbon whiskey. Not even the word straight, not even the word Indiana, not even the word Kentucky. Well, this is MGP juice, but no straight bourbon. It's just bourbon whiskey, finished in peach brandy barrels. I have never had peach brandy. Have you? I think I've had peach schnapps, but I haven't had peach brandy. This is part of their experimental finish series, 750 milliliter, non-chilled, filtered. Very good. Now this is 116 proof, which means 58% ABV. This is barrel B23P. I have no idea what that means. All right, and it had a finish for 10 months. It was a single barrel, or is a single barrel, and it was for the Prohibition Craft Spirits, which is the name of NULU. NULU is a neighborhood in Louisville. Just means New Louisville, NULU basically. And what we have here in the back is barrels of straight bourbon whiskey. They put straight on the label on the back, but not on the front. I don't get that. Hello? Barrels of straight bourbon whiskey are put into various wine, brandy, and cognac barrels for months at a time. We taste them diligently to ensure the finish is heavily present throughout the nose, palate, and finish. Come experience the craft way, a journey into the unique history of distilled liquors at PCS Distilling Company. So then it says distilled by MGP of Indiana, bottled by PCS Distilling in Louisville. Now, I actually visited NULU in 2022. The bar beside it was not bad. The distillery tour was a tiny little bit of walking like through I'm going to be evil here. Imagine you're at a high school and they have project week and you go from one poster board to the next. And you walk through this warehouse basically where there's just pin boards with posters on them, and then your tour guide can tell you a little bit about the history of bourbon, and then you get to stand up in front of I think it was actually glass. I don't think you could actually throw something down. It might not have been open or not, but you see the distillery down below. Now, when I was there, the pot still was so crammed full with barrels all around it and other things. I don't think they've used it for months. They basically focus now, NULU, on buying MGP juice and finishing it and bottling it. It's not bad. It's a good concept. They're doing very, very interesting stuff, and they're going to get many, many more barrels out there than if they were working on that pot stills of theirs. What am I going to compare it to? Now, this is 58%. This is a single barrel. Now, I'm just working on weird finishes today. I have the Penelope Valencia, which is a straight bourbon whiskey, also made by MGP. Penelope is now owned by MGP, and it's finished in a Vino de Naranja casks, so orange wine casks. I think the orange wine casks were the finish of the year for 2024. Amberana was basically the finish of 2023. 2022 for me was maple syrup. And 2021, I don't know, was it even a double oak? I don't remember. All right. So you can actually put down in the comments here just put the year and then put the finishing barrels of that year that were most popular, most hyped, most oh wow, that's weird. I remember the maple syrup. It's like I actually did my own experiment with cask finishes. I had wood chips, I had rum, I had maple syrup once. And that maple syrup just adds sugar. You could actually just take corn syrup and pour it in there, basically. And are we even allowed to add sugar to our whiskey? In Europe, we're not. But we have maple syrup finishes here. So I don't know. All right. Price, 89 euros, 85 euros. Now, I must have a little bit of a caveat here, 85 euros plus 35 euros on top for sending it to Germany per bottle and our excise tax. which sounds like a lot, but I actually ordered products from a different, this is De Wine Spot. And I ordered something from Blackwell's, which I had not done for a very, very long time. And I guess I did a bad job of ordering because I paid for I paid 30 euros per bottle for sending it over to Germany and 24 euros on top for the excise tax. I would have 10 euros per bottle, 20 euros per bottle would have been okay, but I guess I had the wrong size. I think half the problem was me, that I did a bad job of saying, okay, I think I had 6 bottles. It could have been 7, but I could have added a bottle and actually raised the price up. I don't know. But 30 euros per bottle to send something from the US over here, and I bought 6 or 7 bottles at the same time. That's a lot. That really is a lot of money to pay just for postage and handling. Now, the 25 euros for the excise tax, that's terrible. But if you look at the value of the product and the alcohol, you pay 19% for the value of the product, and you pay the 13 euros 03 for the alcohol tax per liter alcohol over here in Germany. All right, so stop complaining, Jason, about this. We're going to go over and compare what we have on the nose. Oh, let's just do color first of all. So I think that the NULU is a little bit darker. All right, on the nose, I like the nose. I do have a little bit of a alcohol tingle in the nose, but I have wood. I have a little bit of a round. It's more balanced. It's a little evened out. There's not that bourbon barrel proof single barrel punch in the nose. And I do get a little bit of peach cobbler. That is interesting. Wow. I'm going to have to organize myself a bottle of peach brandy. I've had a lot of other products, but I've never had a peach brandy. So the Penelope. Okay. You notice, or I notice almost immediately, that the alcohol is less. 58 versus 47.5, so almost 10% less alcohol by volume. And over here we have definitely a little bit of a orange zest moment. Sometimes we eat little tangerines over here, and when you open it up, that you have the peel of the tangerine, and the oils just reach you, and that's what I'm getting here a little bit. Both of these have very, very interesting finishes, and that's going to be my next question of the day: is what is the craziest finish you've ever had? I think maple syrup was crazy. Amberana, I don't think it's crazy. I don't think it's necessary. But the wine, orange wines, I think that's kind of crazy, and I think that's interesting. Peach brandy's also a little bit crazy. I mean, everyone's done a tequila, everyone's done a mezcal, everyone's done port cherry, Madeira, so on and so on and so on. Beer cask, IPAs, and so on. But who's done a peach brandy? Who's done an orange wine finish? And I'm sure there's other crazy finishes out there. That's my second question of the day, is what crazy finishes have you had? And the last question of the day is going to be, what crazy finish do you want? A friend of mine, he actually took iced tea, put it into a barrel, let it set, and then used that iced tea barrel, and he used cold coffee as well. He's used red beet juice. I didn't even try that one. Another friend of mine over here, that's Klaus, he actually did that herring cask where it was herring. Oh, that was terrible. I had to wash my mouth out after that. There's been so many crazy cask experiments. It's unbelievable. But what would you like? What would interest you so much as to not even wanting to try it, but actually maybe wanting to buy a barrel? Not a barrel, a bottle, I'm sorry. I can buy barrels, you can buy bottles. I haven't bought a barrel in 2 or 3 years. I think on the nose, the Penelope is a tiny little bit better. But there's a lot of alcohol here. Cheers. Mm. It's not often I say this, but sometimes something's too strong and I'm just too weak. The 58% is just too overpowering for me in this case. This is a 5-year-old product according to the website. If you put water in, you take it down from its 58% down to around 50%, it turns from a C whiskey into like a B- whiskey. There's a little bit of bitterness, actually. There's a little bit of heartburn. It's just heat. But then when you dilute it down to a wonderful drinking strength, 50-some percent. The peach cobbler is there. There's sweetness. There's a little bit of molasses. There's a little bit of honey. A little bit of oak spice going on in there. That's a very nicely balanced whiskey. That's enjoyable. That's drinkable. That's shareable. But cask strength with 58%, I'm just way too weak. It just burns my palate. It just doesn't do it for me. So without water, it's going to be a C. With water, it's going to be a B-. Now this, as I said, is a single cask. This is cask strength. This is about 5 years old. This has a unique finish. Is it worth going out there and buying a bottle for $90? That's what it costs, at least online at the moment. No. As easy as that. No. I would not go out and buy a new bottle. This is something I would always try before I buy. Who knows if you like peach brandy finished bourbon products from MGP. So going over to Penelope, which has a very interesting following at the moment in the States. If people like it, hit the shelves over in Germany fairly recently. Much more approachable. This seems to be a tick older. This is 5-year-old juice. This feels like it's 4-year-old juice. It does say here straight bourbon whiskey. So it is 4 years of age. I don't see any other mention of age on it, so it has to be 4 years of age. Penelope Bourbon Cooperage Series explores the marriage of different cask finishes with our signature 4-grain straight bourbon whiskey. Rich and bold on the palate, Valencia brings forward rich, what type of flavors? Citrus flavors from the coast of Spain, non-chilled filtered. Yeah. I prefer this without alteration. I prefer this with water. So thank you very much for watching, liking, subscribing, telling others about this crazy guy over in Germany tasting things you might not have ever seen. Have you seen the peach brandy from NULU? Have you been able to try the Valencia from Penelope? Thank you very much for all your support, and I'm looking forward to your answers down below. Bye-bye.